Welcome back. I'm once again on Prince Edward Island, and I bet your morning's been going better than mine has.
So it's Tim from the future here, and once again I've decided to share the raw files of the images I'm going to share in this video. And I think these ones are actually more interesting because I edited the final product more than I normally do. It's nothing crazy, but I think it'll be interesting to compare the raws with the final edits. And make sure you watch to the end of the video because I'll share some extra bonus images that I may not have filmed anything for. So, hope you enjoy.
I've come out to shoot sunrise at a beautiful beach here on Prince Edward Island called Brackley Beach, and I missed the most amazing pink sunrise in a gas station trying to put air in my tire that apparently has a leak. So that's news to me, and this morning can only get better, so I'm really excited to go take some images. I'm running down the stairs because look at that light. I've missed the pretty colors, but the sun's still gorgeous. There's some gorgeous light rays. It's insanely windy. You probably can't hear me. All my gear is probably gonna get destroyed because there's so much sand whipping around, but who cares? I'm just shooting this handheld at 1/640th of a second, f9, ISO 160. And just because I really want to capture this light and the light rays as it's coming through right now, but I will move down the beach and try and make a better composition. I just didn't want to miss out on the light. I absolutely love a windy, wavy day at the beach when I'm here by myself. With a camera, it's a nightmare. My plan is to just wander up and down the beach a bit. There's some really, really nice dunes. There's still some gorgeous light, and the waves are just crashing out off the shore. Tripods are falling over. Yeah, the waves are crashing out the shore. So I think I'd like to get an image of the dunes. I don't really have many images of sand dunes that I'm particularly happy with. And I want to get an image of the waves to just capture the power of the wind right now. I'm gonna unplug my microphone and you're gonna listen to the wind for a second. I don't know if this is gonna fuck it up. It's rip roaring. It's crazy. I also have to apologize for my voice. I'm in PEI for a music festival right now, and I was up late screaming, so that's what the raspy voice is from. I'm not sick, thankfully, though. That right there, I don't know if you can see it above my finger, is a kestrel. A fun little falcon, or hawk? I'm not entirely sure what they are, actually. Regardless, they're beautiful, beautiful birds. So right now, the sand dune is just above my shoulder. And what I like about this dune in particular is that as the wind is blowing through, it's knocking some grass over in some directions, but then some of the other grass is not being affected by the wind as much, just based on where it is. So there's two different shades of green. There's one shade of green for the grass that's being leaned over by the wind, and there's a darker shade of green just for grass that's being less affected. So it adds some contrast and different colors in the scene, which is nice. And then it's also an interesting shape. There's a little bit of exposed sand in the scene as well. And then what helps even more is that there's some really cool clouds with some nice textures above it as well. It's a nice image. I'm quite happy with it. One thing though is that I've had to increase my shutter speed to 1/200th of a second. So I'm shooting at 1/200th of a second, f5.6, ISO 160, just because the grass is moving really fast and I want to try and get it as sharp as possible. As I'm standing here just observing the waves, in front of me there's a consistent, all these waves are quite big and crashing, but directly in front of me there seems to be a consistent rolling big wave that crashes. So I'm gonna try and work the scene a bit, line up a couple different compositions maybe, and try and capture an image with a faster shutter speed to freeze the motion, and then one with a longer shutter speed to get a little bit of extra motion in the image to really convey how powerful these waves are. So, haven't figured it out yet. I don't know if I'm gonna get an image of just the water or if I'm gonna try and incorporate the sand into it as well somehow. Pro tip, if a wave comes in and crashes, or even just a little bit of water runs under your tripod legs, hold on tight, because that is going down. It's gonna dig a hole under your leg and your tripod's gonna topple. So you can thank me later for that one. That piece of information is free. So after looking at a couple different options, I think the composition I've settled on is keeping a little bit of the sand in the bottom left-hand corner of my frame. Not very much, just a sliver. And it serves two purposes. One, it's a nice contrast to the white foamy water, but also just leaving that little bit of shallow beach. As the waves crash in, sometimes they bring out water with them as well. So it also leaves a different texture and sort of some smoothness to the image when those waves crash in. So I'm shooting around 1/400th of a second, f6.4, ISO 250, just because I want a bit of a faster shutter speed. And so far these images have turned out quite nice. These waves are just spectacular. Just looking on the back of my camera, I'm quite happy with those last couple I captured, and after a little bit of experimenting, I don't think a long exposure will do anything. The waves are just so big that a long exposure doesn't smooth them out a lot, and then it just looks like it's been shot with too slow of a shutter speed, so it just looks quite messy. So that's that one settled. Just over to my right, there looks like there's a few patches of seaweed that are being lit up by the sun, sort of in line with where the water's crashing on the beach. So maybe I'll give that composition a try next. I've been messing around with the seaweed composition for the last couple minutes, and I found a nice piece of seaweed that I thought there'd be some crashing water on, but the water hasn't come up far enough, so I think I might change tactics again. Whoa, water's coming. Not quite. I might change tactics again, and this time I might look for, right next to me there's some really pristine, clean sand, and without seaweed, and maybe I'll get it more of an abstract image with just the still calm water on the sand and then dry sand on the other side. Wet feet. The composition I'm shooting right now is very straightforward. In the sand, I have it framed up so that there's dry sand on the left side of the frame, damp sand in the middle, and then on the right-hand side of the frame is the ocean. So if I time it correctly with the right wave, then I'm getting wet feet. If I time it right with the correct wave, then I get like 3 or 4 different textures in the image, and it's forming a little bit of an S pattern, so it's nice compositionally, and yeah, I'm shooting at 125th of a second, f11, ISO 250, and really it's just about waiting for the right wave. I might end the video here. I know it was pretty short, but hopefully it was short and sweet. I'm quite happy with a couple of images that I captured, and moral of the story today is that even if you have a really bad morning, get out with the camera because you'll be in a better mood. I'm a lot happier now than when I first woke up. Yeah, but I had to get off the beach. Unless I was standing directly near or on the wet sand, as soon as I stepped off the wet sand and the dry sand, it was just like a sandblaster in there, and it was really starting to hurt. And the audio, I haven't checked. I hope it's reasonable. It's insanely windy. So it wasn't super pleasant standing there. My cameras kept falling over and getting blasted with sand, but I got some images I'm happy with, and I hope you liked a couple of them, and I'll see you in the next one.